are back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. It's Valentine's Day tomorrow, so I thought, what better time to talk about my wedding, the marriage to my beautiful wife, than the day before Valentine's Day. So I'm finally going to talk about my fucking wedding. I know the dudes aren't into this. The dudes don't give a fuck about this. Although there's a little bit of drug taking, there's a lot of drinking, there's a couple of fingerings in there too. There's an arrest. So it's not entirely for the ladies, the wedding stuff, but it is the ladies who have been messaging me and asking to talk about my fucking wedding. And I'm not sure exactly what you want me to talk about with the wedding. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start from the very fucking start. I'll start pretty much from when my parents or my dad met my wife's parents. And then we'll go from there. We'll see how far we get. But this is going to be not a one-parter. This is going to be maybe a 2, 3, 4-parter. And I'll do it every Saturday until it's finished. How's that sound? It might take a few Saturdays. And I might go longer than my normally allotted amount of time. And also, I'll be remembering shit myself along the way. Because I haven't really thought about it in a long fucking time. 7 years this year. Alright, so my wife told her parents about me, and there was about a fucking year, maybe a little bit longer than a year, where they just were not fucking into the white Indian fucking matrimony. But my wife is stubborn, and after about a year, they realized she's not going to give in. So they said, alright, we'll come down and we'll meet David's parents. Me and my wife were living together in a flat in Melbourne at the time. So I had to move out of my flat for like 2 weeks and move into a hotel. And then I met them one night. I was nervous as fuck. I had a few drinks before I went there just to calm my nerves. And then I walked in, met her parents. I was nervous as shit. I did everything wrong. I like crossed my legs and was like pointing my feet at fucking people. I was breaking all the Indian laws. I didn't even know about them. No one even fucking prepped me. My wife didn't prep me for it. But I was just lounging back on the couch with my arm up like I'm some fucking cool dude. Anyway, they kind of liked me, I suppose. But they were also half like, well, what are we going to do now? So that was okay, sort of. But then the next day or a couple of days later, they were meeting my dad and his wife. Not my mum, just my dad and his wife. That's the only people they fucking met before we got married. We very, very deliberately did not want them to meet my mum. That would have been an absolute fucking disaster. Or any other relatives, to be honest with you. No other relatives were invited. Just my dad and his wife, that's it. And that's not a lot to go off because Indians put a lot of value on what type of family you come from. Like my wife's sister's getting married now, and they're literally taking 20 family members, like aunties, uncles, cousins, nephews, all that shit, to meet his family in Chennai. It's fucking crazy. So the families feel each other out. Not with us. They just went off my dad. And to be honest with you, my dad's pretty fucking charming. And his wife is socially pretty fucking amazing too. So that was good. We went and watched King Kong at the fucking theater, which was fucking, who cares? It was King Kong. Anyway, after that, my wife's parents agreed to the marriage. They didn't really do their due diligence on the fucking family though, did they? And so then the wedding started to get organized. And I was not really prepared for how much of a fucking event it was going to be. I thought it was going to be big, but the more it was getting planned, the more I was like, this is getting out of fucking control. And when my wife is asking me questions about what's going on at the wedding, I'm just like, I don't know, just do whatever you need to do. Just do it how you would normally do an Indian wedding. I don't know. So she just took care of everything. I was just like, yeah, all right. She's telling me stuff like there's the engagement, which is different to the wedding. There's a turmeric ceremony. There's a coconut milk ceremony. There's a fucking reception. There's like 7 fucking events. There's some dancing event. She's telling me this. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I don't even really know what you're meant to do at an Australian wedding. I have no fucking idea, actually. The only thing I ever cared about was the free fucking booze. So the wedding's starting to get bigger and bigger. From their side, it's starting to get massive. Even for them, they're like, shit, this is getting a little bit out of control. I've invited all my friends. I have 3 now, but back then, before I had fucking kids, I had about 30 to 40. It was so fucking cool. I had friends from every period of my life, like high school, then when I moved to Sydney, then university, and then some fucking stragglers and all my family as well. So my side was pretty decent. I ended up with like 40 people there in India. But about a month or two before the wedding, my wife decides we need to give her parents some money for the wedding. And I'm like, hold on, isn't it tradition, Indian tradition, that the wife's family pays for the wedding? Is this not true? And she's like, yes, but I don't give a fuck. I want to give my parents some money. I'm like, that's all well and good, but I just want to remind you quickly on another thing. We have no fucking money. She's like, can you ask your mum and dad for some money? I'm like, there's no money. What money? I've been telling you this for the last 3 years. There's no fucking money. My family has no fucking money. There's no money anywhere. There's no aunties with money. There's no cousins with money. No one's got money. And I had told her that before, but I don't think she really believed me until now. I think she thought I was being like some rich guy who was being modest. I don't know what the fuck she was thinking, but she found out real fucking quick there was no money. But I did ask my dad. She somehow forced me to ask my dad. I'm like, Dad, look, I'm getting married in India, as you know, and it's going to be quite a big wedding. It's going to be a massive wedding. I don't even know how fucking big the wedding's going to be. But, and this is how I played it with my dad, but it's an Indian tradition. I used that for everything. Everything's an Indian tradition during this wedding. Whenever I needed someone to do something they didn't want to do, it's an Indian tradition. I'm like, Dad, it's an Indian tradition that the father of the groom has to give the father of the bride a gift, a monetary gift, to contribute to the cost of the wedding. And he's like, well, I have no fucking money. What do you want me to do? I'm like, all we're asking for is like maybe about $10,000. Do you have 10,000 lying around, Dad? He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I'm like, 10,000 isn't that bad. That's 10,000 is more a token amount, isn't it? And he's like, no, I haven't got $10,000. I'm like, well, can you give us something then? I know you have no money. And then I got honest with him. I'm like, I know you have no money, but you having no money is fucking embarrassing, all right? Now I have to go back to my wife. Now I have to go back to my wife and say, my family's so fucking poor. We've got no money. I'm like, can you fucking scrounge out something? I'll give you the money back. Just fucking scrounge together something. And I think he ended up giving me like $3,000, which was fucking decent of him because he really didn't have to fucking give me anything. I also kind of remember it might have been like 1,200 or 1,800, not $3,000, but let's call it $3,000. But my wife wanted to give like 12,000. I think we had like 6,000 or 7,000 in the bank. Maybe it was 5. We didn't have fucking $12,000 though. So we ended up getting a fucking credit card and then withdrawing the fucking cash off the credit card and then giving her parents the $12,000. They didn't even ask for it, by the way. There was no fucking mention of money from her parents. They didn't want it. It was one of the things my wife wanted to do for her parents. That cost us 12,000 fucking dollars. I'm like, I don't even need a wedding. Just keep the fucking 12K. Let's go to Vegas, fucking get married by Elvis or something. So that was all good, kind of. And my wife flew out to India with the $12,000 about a month before me. So she went to India to organize the whole entire wedding without me because I had to stay back and work. I can't even remember what fucking job I was doing at the time. I think it was more me encouraging her to go a month before me. I'm like, yes, you take care of it. That's a good idea. I tell you what I'll do. I'll stay here and work. I need to stay back and work now because, you know, the $12,000 thing. So my wife ended up going to India about 4 weeks before me. Might have been 3 weeks. Who knows? I can't remember. So I was home by myself for about 3 or 4 weeks, having a good fucking time, partying, doing whatever I needed to do. Get it out of my system because I was about to become a very happily married fucking man. And then I flew to India by myself the second time I had been in India. And that is it for tonight. I didn't even get fucking close to starting the wedding. So this is going to be like a 5-parter. This is going to be a serial. This is going to be like days of our lives. Because the only ones really listening on a Saturday night are my fucking bitches sitting there with a glass of red and a fucking cheese board. So I'll continue this saga over the next few weeks until it's finished. Anyway, that is it, and I'll see you the fuck later.